hockey fans, and happy Easter! Welcome into the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page, where today it is a big cross-conference matchup with different stakes at hand between the Minnesota Wild and the Detroit Red Wings. Welcome into the broadcast, everybody. My name is Jaric Rubel. So excited to have you with me for today's game. And for Detroit, the urgency could not be any higher. The Wings are fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive, and time is starting to run out as they've missed the playoffs for 10 straight years at this point. And after a tough loss on Saturday, the Red Wings find themselves slipping here at a critical moment in this season. A 4-1 defeat yesterday at MSG at the hands of the New York Rangers was another missed opportunity in a game where offense was hard to come by until the final moments, as veteran forward David Perron finally break through to get his first goal as a Red Wing and broke the shutout late. But overall, a frustrating afternoon for a team that desperately needs points out east. The Wings have to turn this page quickly as they've dropped ground in the standings. Those losses through March again piling up in recent weeks. And while they remain in the thick of this wild card race, the margin for error is razor thin. Wings are part of a crowded group in this Eastern Conference. There's 4 teams tied at 88 points in the standings, including the Red Wings and the Capitals. Right behind those 4 teams sitting at 87 points. All of those teams either tied for the last spot or the Capitals a point or 2 out of the wild card, or even third in the Metro behind the Islanders, who, by the way, have now fired Patrick Waugh and brought in Peter DeBoer. So things really shaken up in the Eastern Conference. But overall here in Detroit with head coach Todd McClellan, he called this team out for just not having the character, in the underlying terms. He just really is trying to get them to show the compete level that they know that they can get to. We've seen it at times from the Wings, but it's just late in the year. For the last couple of seasons, game 60 and on, it's just been struggle central for Detroit. And their captain Dylan Larkin and forward Lucas Raymond both have echoed the same message. There's no time to dwell on the past. The focus now shifts entirely to this homestand, starting today against the Wild, with a belief that there is still playoff hopes intact, and the team could find a way to break through. But again, standing in their way is this Minnesota team that has already secured a spot in the postseason. They're now focused on something different, and that's home ice advantage in round number 1. For Minnesota, a win today can put them 2 back of the Stars for second in the Central Division and can make a dogfight out of getting home ice in that first round series. The Wild come in playing confident hockey. They're fresh off a win against the Ottawa Senators a day ago, a result that happened to help Detroit's playoff push, and the Wild have been building momentum. They're using these final games as an opportunity to fine-tune their structure and identity before the real test begins, starting April 19th for the teams out west. One player that is leading the charge for the Wild is Ryan Hartman. He's been on a tear. Had 2 goals on the network Thursday against the Vancouver Canucks, which I had for you. That he had 2 goals yesterday afternoon against the Ottawa Senators. He could become the first player in Wild history to score multiple goals in 3 straight games. He already has had success against Detroit this year, as he was able to find the back of the net, or I should say add an assist in that game against Detroit. But overall, Ryan Hartman in his career has shown up against the winged wheel. And that game overall against Detroit earlier in the year was a thrilling overtime finish. It saw superstar Kirill Kaprizov play hero, while Matt Zuccarello also contributed offensively. And on the other side, Lucas Raymond was able to find the score sheet for the Red Wings in that matchup, as he scored twice in that game, in which the Wild won 4-3 back on January the 22nd. So here we go. One team trying to keep its season alive in Detroit, the other in Minnesota preparing for what lies ahead and trying to get home ice in round number 1. It's the Wild and the Wings coming up next from the Pizza Box, Little Caesars Arena here in downtown Detroit. Puck drop is just moments away. I'll bring you tonight's starting goaltenders, and we'll be underway from Detroit. You're listening to the NHL here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel with yours truly, Jaric Rubel. ready to rock here in Detroit as we take a look at tonight's starting netminders. My name is Jaric Rubel, and in goal for the Minnesota Wild is Filip Gustavsson. 27-13-6 record for him on the year, 2.36 goals against average, and a .910 save percentage. He's opposed by Cam Talbot. This season he's 12-8-5 on the year, 3.01 goals against average, and an .892 save percentage. 9-8-3 in his career against his former team is Cam Talbot. As we are out at center ice, and Eck and Larkin to take the draw is won by Eck, and the Wild control were underway as they attack left to right in this opening period. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me on this Easter Sunday. Hope you all are enjoying it with your friends and family, wherever you may be tuning in from. The Red Wings with a turnover here in center ice, head into the Wild zone. Finney on the left wing tried to feed Raymond up ahead as they're together on the top line once again. Raymond, Larkin, and Finney. That's what started the season as the top line for Detroit. As now through center, the Wild. Matt Boldy on the right side had 2 goals on Thursday against the Canucks, scoreless yesterday against the Senators. Gets a puck out of the far corner here down to our right. Let it go around the goal. Kaprizov came to the near point where Quinn Hughes controls. To the far side, Spurgeon had to stash it along the boards, but it came right to Simon Edvinsson as he'll flip one up on the left wing, and it'll be controlled by Raymond, who dumps it in at the end of a shift, and it'll be met around on the far side to our left by DeBrincat. Left it behind in the trapezoid for Kopp. Kopp played it to the back at the far point. Slinging it this way, Sandin Pellikka for Sherratt now. Played it behind the goal. Came to the far boards for the Wild now as Hartman will take it. He threw it out to center. Kaprizov will sling it right back on the far wing for Hartman. He's in, far circle, driving to the goal. Got poke checked behind by Bernard Docker. Puck came to Patrick Kane as now the future Hall of Famer backhands it out to center. The Wild will rekindle in their own zone with 85 seconds played here so far today in Detroit. No shots on goal for either team as the Red Wings on the far side tried to feed Patrick Kane over the Wild line, couldn't connect. The Wild, trying to not get called for too many men, had to let that puck go, and the Red Wings will get possession back. In steps Johansson, a shot, he scores! Albert Johansson opens the scoring with a wicked wrister over the glove of Gustafsson, and the Red Wings are up 1-0. So Albert Johansson's 3rd goal of the season as he waltzed right in on the left wing side, traded spots with DeBrincat to walk down Main Street and let a wrister go right past the glove side of Gustafsson off the far post and in. And the Detroit Red Wings get an important opening goal against the Wild, and they this season are 25-5-2 when scoring first. Overall, the Wild 10-15-6 when giving up the game's first goal. Now 1-0 Detroit here on home ice early in this one, as now the Wild are trying to enter back into Detroit ice following the ensuing face-off, but it's taken back by Perron. We're on the left side now. It'll be thrown for Kasper, but poked off his blade, and on the right side comes Trennan. Trennan trying to center it for Urov, couldn't connect on that pass. Now Sandin Pellikka for the Red Wings, turned it over in his own zone on a poke check from behind by Urov. In the slot, Tarasenko, a shot and a glove save made there by Talbot, as he'll get a whistle with 17:49 remaining here in period number 1. So let's take a look at how the Red Wings align in this game after striking for the opening goal by Albert Johansson. As the top line I mentioned is Emmett Finney with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. Then the second line, Kopp, DeBrincat, Kane is unchanged. As the Red Wings win a D-zone draw to the left of Talbot, they'll fling it out the center. This should be an icing, and it'll roll all the way down. It won't be icing, so we'll play on. But meanwhile, the other Red Wings lines, the fourth line on the ice now of James Van Riemsdyk, Michael Rasmussen, and Carter Major. And then the third line of Comfer, Kasper, and David Perron. At the left point, here's Edvinsson playing it behind the goal for James Van Riemsdyk. Edvinsson paired on defense today with Moritz Seider. Gave it to him now at the far wall. Played it behind the goal. As the other defense pairings here for the Red Wings are Sherratt and Sandin Pellikka, and Johansson with Bernard Docker. So the Wild, through the midst of that, were able to clear their zone on the near side, as it'll be Marcus Foligno playing it to the near corner. Out here with his brother Nick, who rejoins the lineup tonight, has taken a seat in the lineup for the Minnesota Wild in this game is Bobby Brink, as now behind the Detroit net, as all skaters change, it'll be Mo Seider left here with 3 minutes gone by in the first period, waiting for everyone to rejoin him. He'll snap it up the far wing. Pass there intended for Larkin. Went off his skate. Came to Boldy. Right circle. A shot. And a save made by Cam Talbot. He'll squeeze that with 16:43 to go in the first period. Let's take a look at the wild lines here in this game. Top line unchanged of Hartman, Kaprizov, and Zuccarello. Second line of Eck, Boldy, and Johansson. Third line of Yurov, Tarasenko, and Trennan bumped up with those guys. On the fourth line, McCarron, Marcus Foligno, and Nick Foligno. Deep pairings Hughes with Faber, Brodin with Spurgeon, and Middleton with Jeff Petrie, the ex-Red Wing from Ann Arbor, joining the lineup after Zach Bogosian's been ruled out with an injury that'll keep him out for a couple of days. So that's how Minnesota aligns in this game, as they'll end up icing a puck here down the ice, and the whistle will go at 16:28 remaining in the first period. Again, if you're new to the broadcast, be sure to hit the like button and hit subscribe. As we're entering the final 2 weeks here of the NHL regular season, you'll hear from me on Tuesday and Thursday. So on Tuesday, the Avalanche take on the Blues, and on Thursday, the Blue Jackets head to Buffalo to take on the Sabres, who have finally clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2011. So congratulations to the Sabres. Red Wings here trying to find their way in for the first time since 2016. They win a draw here to the right of Gustafsson. Sherratt controls, walking his way to the far right wing circle with a shot that got blocked to the near corner. Now it's going to be Larkin digging it out from behind. Played it back to the far point. Bernard Docker this way for Sherratt. Poked away nicely there by the Wild as Johansson got it out to neutral ice. It's played back now into their own zone for Spurgeon. And with 4 minutes gone by in the first, the Wild captain's out the center. Straight ahead. Here's Eck over the line. Near right wing Boldy to the net. A shot goes off the leg of Edvinsson to the far wall. DeBrincat made a nice backhand pass to Kopp, who's up ahead 3-on-3 over the red line. To the far wall, Patrick Kane pulled up right over that Wild line. Far side. Played it down low to Kopp. He's tied up with Spurgeon now. Puck free to the corner. DeBrincat can't grab it. It came to Quinn Hughes. As now Hughes will play it back up the far wall. Boldy trying to keep it away from Kopp does. And now on the far side lets it roll to Seider as he heads to change. So the Red Wings take possession back in neutral ice. As in front of the penalty boxes, Seider goes across to the far side for Moritz Seider. I should say Edvinsson to Seider. Is now Kopp back in straight away over the Wild line. Trying to drop pass for DeBrincat, but couldn't connect with the shot. As now the Wild are back out with their top line through center. Hartman try to drop it in the slot. It's taken away. DeBrincat played up ahead and almost reaching Patrick Kane, but it was out of his reach, and he decides he's going to head for a change. And the Wild will get back with 5 minutes gone by in this first period. Here's Quinn Hughes on the Hockey Town logo. Here now Marcus Foligno will twist it on the near side for Zuccarello. It's taken away from him, but now got it back nicely from Casper as it goes down low to our right behind the Red Wing cage. Sandin Pellikka up the far boards. Couldn't get it out. Kaprizov keeps it right at the blue line at the far point. Behind the goal, here's Hartman now. Shielding to the far circle. Up high to the point, it's Petrie. Petrie at the far left point in the slot. Trying to hit Zuccarello. It found Johansson instead. As now Albert Johansson, the goal scorer today, will pitchfork one off the far glass to center. And it'll ricochet off a Red Wing into the Detroit bench for a whistle with 14:30 to go here in this first period. 1-0 Detroit on the goal from Albert Johansson, as Bert was able to get his third goal on the year. Last time I called a Red Wings game on TNT was last spring against the Golden Knights, and he also scored a goal in that game for the Red Wings. So something about Johansson and Sunday games on TNT perhaps. As now a face-off here at center is going to be won by the Red Wings. Going to be shot right in by Bernard Docker, and it'll go down to our left behind the Wild goal. Got poked in the far corner off Mazur's blade, but taken back by Minnesota as Middleton played it straight ahead for Trennan. Trennan near on the right side for Tarasenko over the Wild line. Had a pass go off a skate to the far wall. Now in behind Trennan. Tried to give a jolt to a Red Wing as he comes into this game with over 370 hits, which is the fourth highest total the NHL has seen since tracking the stat. As now the Wild are going to, well, I thought the Red Wings were going to get whistled for an offsides here, but a shot did come towards Gustafsson as there was no offsides whistle there, and Gustafsson had to make that stop. So a timeout will be had here with 7 minutes played in this first period. 1-0 Detroit on the goal by Albert Johansson. Back in a moment here on YouTube. back here in Detroit. Red Wings up 1-0 over the Minnesota Wild on a goal by Albert Johansson. A reminder coming up later today, we have the Women's College Basketball National Championship game at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Seth Eves will be on the call for that one. So once this concludes, head on over to Seth Eves' broadcast to catch the Women's National Championship game in college basketball. So face off here in front of the penalty boxes at center. Comfer wins it against Danielle Uroff. As now the Red Wings in their own zone to our right. Bernard Docker, I should say Sandine Pellica, had a turnover as Trent enforced it, but it came to Comfer, played it up ahead for Casper. Far wing, over the Wild line it goes. Chip back to Casper in the far corner. Got taken off the play, but here comes Comfer in the slot. Perron trying to stay with it. Got poke checked by Uroff. And now out the center comes Minnesota again. On the near side, Tarasenko played it down low behind the Red Wing net. Bodies getting collided into down there as the puck meanwhile rolls back to center. And now the Wild will recollect as they make a change. Petrie up ahead. It's now Marcus Foligno trying to get into the Red Wing zone. Almost got knee-on-knee contact made into the zone with Albert Johansson, but he avoids that. And the Red Wings end up with the puck down to our right with 7 minutes gone by here in the first period. So the Red Wings up ahead through center. Touch pass finds Larkin straight ahead into the Wild zone. A shot got blocked off the stick of Middleton. It deflects out of play. With 12:54 here remaining in this first period. Minnesota here, 9-3 in their last 12 games against Detroit. That dates back to February of 2019. They're outscoring them 48-34 now, including the Johansson goal tonight. And Minnesota has earned a .8 of their last 12 games here against the Red Wings, and they've also won 7 of the last 10 overall meetings. Face off to Gustafson's left. One by DeBrincat, thrown right on net, but it went through the blue paint. Now to the left point, Edvinsson's flipper didn't make it to the net and rolled all the way up the far wall to center where the Red Wings must reset. Sider this way for Edvinsson, played it near wall DeBrincat, tipped it over the Wild line, but it's thrown right back to center ice. And now Detroit rekindles again. Off a skate of Kane, came to Kopp right in. Now DeBrincat, a shot that goes off a skate out of play. And with 12:31 to play here in the first, another stoppage in play. So only one shot for Detroit. Came a minute 50 in when Albert Johansson found the back of the net. Minnesota only with 2 in this game. And it's rare for Minnesota to not score first. Overall, they have scored the first goal about 900 times in their franchise. I'm not going to do the exact math here. I'm not quick like that. But 689, 182, and 112 all-time record when scoring first. That's a lot of times they've scored first. And the fact that they've won 75% of the time in their franchise's history when scoring first, yeah, it's a pretty big goal for the Red Wings here in an important game. Up 1-0. So in front of the penalty boxes, Faber controls for the Wild, got it to Eriksson Ek. He'll snap it on into Red Wing ice, down to the near side, down to our right. Sider will try and protect. Dangerous pass to Edvinsson, poked off his blade by Boldy, but recovers. Now goes rink wide on the far side, goes off a Wild skate, and now it ricochets to the far side. We're in front of the Wild bench. Johansson will take it. So over the Red Wing line, he'll skate it. Got tied up with Sider. He's still hanging on. The referee's not looking as Johansson falls down as we play on. Meanwhile, the puck finds Boldy right in, right side, into the Red Wing zone. A backhand across, and it's broken up by Sider. Puck came back behind to Boldy in the trapezoid as Sider just running him right out of the play, knocked him off his skates. As the few Red Wings fans that appreciated that, I could see clapping in the arena. Not too many, though. Very glad that they saw Sider play good defense like that. That was a good play. Should have garnered a little more crowd attention, as now Quinn Hughes still has it in for the Wild. Down to the right wing circle, Faber protecting against Edvinsson. Works it back up high now on his backhand to the blue line between the circles. Nudged it far wall, down low, Hughes button hooks. Backhanded it up to Faber, but it misses him and rolls all the way back into Wild ice. The Red Wings will get a change, and Minnesota chases back with 11:10 left in the first period. Jaric Rubel with you on this Easter Sunday on the Ultimate Sports Media channel. Glad you're with me here for this matinee. As Zuccarello from center ice snapped one around the Red Wing goal for Kaprizov. Dropped it Hartman. Up high Spurgeon now. Left it for Kaprizov. Deep slot. Long shot. Right pad save. Talbot through a screen. And DeBrincat carries out now. Left wing for Kane. Tried to give it back. It went off of Zuccarello's leg into the Wild zone. Now behind the goal. DeBrincat lumberjacked at it. It deflected out of play again. And with 10:42 to go here in the first period, we have ourselves another whistle. So the Red Wings last time out, it was a rough one against the New York Rangers. They lost that game 4-1 and fell to 40-28-8 overall on the season. Against original six teams this year, the Red Wings are 9-6-1. So that's the last time they'll play an original six team. Larkin led all Red Wing skaters in the game with 7 shots. Perron had 5 and found the back of the net. But overall, the Red Wings hamstrung on the road against a Ranger team that's not great in that building that they call home, Madison Square Garden. Face off here to the left of Gustafsson. Kopp loses that draw to Hartman, and now the Wild will get through center. Here's Kaprizov on the puck protecting. Now on the right side, dropped it. Zuccarello will ring it around. Brodin on the far boards. Got it to Hartman. Played it back behind to Zuccarello to the near right wing corner. Now he's getting fought off here by Sherrod. Nice defensive stick from behind. Forced a puck up ahead to Brinket will carry it. Left wing side, dropped it. Here's Kopp in the slot. A shot block came to Cade. Now Kopp a whack, and it came behind the goal. Off the tip of the glove of Gustafsson. Now on the near side, Hartman collects for the Wild. Up ahead, here's Kaprizov. 2-on-2 with Zuccarello. Twists his way into the wing zone, but he's whistled for it offsides as he made one too many moves, and now Sherrod gets upended by Zuccarello after play's already blown dead behind the Red Wing goal. And the referee right on top of that there doesn't call anything, but now Hartman's going to step in as well and talk with Sherrod, as Sherrod just went palms up as he didn't think he deserved anything like that after the play was blown dead. And now it looks like on the Red Wing bench here, Kopp's kind of doubled over. Looks like he's okay, though, as got to be worried about him getting injured as he just came back a few weeks ago and last year when he got hurt in February. Believe it might have been against this Minnesota team, believe it or not. The Red Wings team just fell apart, and it kind of happened again this year when he went out. Larkin went out too, but Kopp's kind of like a integral piece, I think, of this Red Wing team. They definitely fire on more cylinders when he's healthy, and he's not exactly a player. Even I consider myself a diehard, but I don't really think of Andrew Kopp as an impact guy like that. But after these last 2 seasons and seeing how poor the Red Wings have played without him, I think I got to change my opinion and, think a little more highly on Andrew Kopp, as he's been very good for the Red Wings in his couple of seasons he spent here after coming over, after spending time with New York and Winnipeg. As now here are the Red Wings through center, as on the far side, Comfort couldn't connect with a pass, so he got turned around between the benches, and now having trouble with it, Sandin Pellikka, he'll turn it over, jumping to keep it his ear off and throwing it into the Red Wing zone, and behind the goal now, Albert Johansson off to snap it up the near side, can't get it out whatsoever, came back to him, rung it around the goal, now to the far wall for Sandin Pellikka, up on the far side, Perron, trying to shield off a hit from Tarasenko, was able to get it deep, now Tarasenko jockeying with Perron, ex-teammate in St. Louis, those two, between the benches. Meanwhile, the puck down to our left behind the Wild net. Quinn Hughes snapping it up the right side. Tipped by McCarron into the zone, no icing. Talbot out to play it between the circles. Stuck it out in front of the Red Wing bench. And now Michael Rasmussen on it. Backhands it to the Wild zone. Behind the goal, he takes Faber to the boards. Puck played up, though, by McCarron away from James Van Riemsdyk. And now back behind the Wild goal, it gets poked by Marcus Foligno. Quinn Hughes now will try and give it to Faber. He mishandled it. Now on the near side, turned it over. Here's a turn over to Rasmussen for Shine. Trying to drive to the net. Got taken down, but no penalty as he lost an edge. Now on the far side, it's Hughes. Hughes up on the far side. It'll be snapped back in by Marcus Foligno. His brother Nick going after it in the near corner with Edvinsson. Gave him a jolt to the boards. Meanwhile, the puck on the far side for Seider. Up ahead, shot it into the bench as it goes into the Red Wing bench for a stoppage with 8:27 remaining here in the first period. Back in a moment on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page where the Red Wings lead 1-0 over the Minnesota Wild. 8:27 to go in the opening period from Detroit. And the Red Wings hold a 1-0 lead against the Minnesota Wild in the opening 20 minutes. And they're trying to get back in a playoff spot. It's currently held by the Ottawa Senators, but it's a four-way tie for the final wild card spot out east. Sens, Wings, Flyers, and Blue Jackets all at 88 points. Capitals at 87. And also that third spot in the Metro up for grabs with the Isles at just 89 points. And now with the coaching change, Pete DeBoer at the helm, we'll see what happens with them, as these playoffs are going to be awesome and wide open. As now, here's Finney. Finney just got taken down. The refs are letting them play today. Colin, I know you're watching along. I feel like the refs are for sure letting these two teams play. There's been some real chippiness to this game, but no power play opportunities for either team, as I think the Red Wings here could have had a couple of man advantage opportunities already. And now an icing call here that Finney's not happy with, as he felt he got to the face-off dot first just on the other side of the rink. But the whistle does go with 7:56 remaining in this opening period, as the Red Wings still with just one shot on goal through the first 12 minutes of this one, and it just found the back of the net inside the far post under the glove of Philip Gustafsson. It was Albert Johansson, the Swedish defenseman, getting his third of the season and 10th point on the campaign. It's now a face-off here at the center ice logo, won by Kopp. Drop back now for Seider to play for Patrick Kane, who tipped it in. All right, back in possession now of the Wild. It goes TNT's broadcast showing the officials. Wes McCauley, Justin Key are the referees. Kyle Flemington and Andrew Smith are the linesmen. But I can't help but just think that they're talking about how the referees might be letting them play, as it seems like there could have been some penalties. That seems like a very fitting time to put the referees on screen on a telecast when there hasn't been any penalties. So maybe I am saying the same thing that Brendan Burke and company are talking about on TNT. That'd be pretty neat if so. But meanwhile, through center, on the right wing, Ryan Hartman for the Wild over the Red Wing line, put it deep behind the trapezoid. Kaprizov bunted it in front, but a good active stick by Talbot whacked it to the near corner. And now Perron sent Casper up ahead over the winged wheel logo to the far wing into the Wild zone. Backhanded it in front. Comfort couldn't get good wood on it. Now backhanded it to the far point, but nobody's home as the Wings were changing. And now Seider sends it this way for Johansson to put back into Wild ice. Came to Zuccarello, who touched it behind for Petrie. The Ann Arbor native up the right wing. Here's Trenton over the Red Wing line. Backhanded one towards the blue paint. Talbot sticked it again, but it went off a leg back to the near side. But Johansson will get it out to center. Perron with it. In front of the Red Wing bench, it'll be glided past by Sandin Pellikka. Now over the Wild blue line far wing, played it around the goal, but to the near side, it's only Petrie there. And now Jeff Petrie up ahead, turned it over. Johansson to the far wall, into the zone comes Rasmussen, dropped it in the slot. Major turned around, got taken down by Petrie, no call. As now here's Urhoff again, flinging it out to center for Minnesota. Behind on the far wing is Bernard Docker, taken down by Trenton without the puck. Now behind the Red Wing net, Trenton will hunt it down up to the right point. Spurgeon, a shot off a Red Wing stick to the far wall, knocked behind the goal. Trenton let it ride to the near side. Spurgeon pinching, can't grab it. Now Major up ahead, stretch pass on the far side for JVR. James Van Riemsdyk on his backhand over the Wild line, played it down low, but now it's 6 minutes to go in the first period. Red Wings were changing. The Wild took it back. Fourth line on the ice for them, as it's played behind the Red Wing net, far corner, Nick Foligno being defended here by Ben Sherratt, two longtime veterans of this league. Sherratt will pool cue it back behind the Red Wing net to the near side. Edvinsson launched it up. This will go for an icing, though, as the whistle will be blown with 5:39 remaining in this first period. Just 5 shots on goal total in these opening 16 minutes. 4 for the Wild, just 1 still for the Red Wings. And of course, it found the back of the net, like I said, from Albert Johansson. Simon Edvinsson on the ice here following that icing. He's the one who sent it down. And in his career against these Minnesota Wild, he's got 2 goals in his career against them and an assist, 3 points in 3 games. He had a 2-goal game last season in Minnesota against these Wild. So he's been able to beat Philip Gustafsson a couple of times in the same game in his career. As now he's out to defend a puck here to his right after they lost a draw. And the Wild, Nick Foligno, played it away up to the right point for Brock Faber. Faber left it along the boards again. Nick Foligno working it from the right wing circle, just flung it to the far side. Quinn Hughes will play it back down. McCarron can't grab it. His stick got lifted by Edvinsson, but it's taken now behind the goal by Foligno. Marcus Foligno, that is, on the right wing side. Dropped it in the near corner for McCarron. Played it through the blue paint, pinballed up near the slot. Now Quinn Hughes working it on it. Played it from the right wing circle to the net. Save made by Talbot in the butterfly position. Rebound kicked out to Finney, and he has space on the left wing to skate out. And he'll snap it around the Wild goal. Back now are the Red Wings as they change into the Wild zone they go. Johansson behind the goal for Kane. 4:45 to go in the first. Played it up to the far point. DeBrincat can't grab it. It rolls all the way back down. Seider has to get back, as he will from behind his own net. Played it on the near wall past the penalty boxes. Unable to get it was Kopp. And now the Wild play it back where it came from. On the near side, Petrie for Matt Boldy. Backhanded it over the Red Wing line. Near circle, Johansson a shot blocked by Seider. It goes out of play to the far side. With 4:23 to go in this first period, we'll step aside one last time in period number one. Still 1-0 Detroit on the goal by Albert Johansson in the first 2 minutes of this one. Back here with you in a Little Caesars Arena, downtown Detroit, Michigan, along Woodward Avenue. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. 4:23 remaining in the first, where the Red Wings lead the Minnesota Wild 1-0, and dare I say a must-win game for the Red Wings, as every point matters here down the stretch. They've dropped one too many, maybe two too many, or three too many, or four too many throughout the month of March. They were once comfortably in Atlantic Division spot, now just battling for that 8th spot to get in, and we'll see who ends up finding that first round matchup. Now at the right point here for the Red Wings, it's Bernard Docker trying a shot that got blocked, came to the near side. Sherrod also put a rocket off the glass. That'll roll all the way back down and into the Red Wings zone. They must reset. Under 4 minutes remaining in the first period. Goal by Albert Johansson from Sandin Pellikka and Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane now passing Jonathan Toews for the 6th most points all time against the Minnesota Wild in NHL history, as he now has 56 points in 58 games, as he now has 25 goals and 31 assists after that apple. And now here he is off a turnover down Main Street. Left it for DeBrincat, got stick checked to the near wall, tried to play it back to Kane, but Faber cut that off, and it's played back out to center. Wild trying to get a change. Red Wings will keep the same guys out there, as DeBrincat made a one-touch pass to Kane over the Wild line, but poked away Faber, taking Kaprizov. On the far wall, it's for Zuccarello. Pirouettes now here and finds himself at the Hockey Town logo. Played it on the far wall. Here's Hartman, poked away from him, but it came to Zuccarello. On the near side, one-timer, Kaprizov, similar to the goal he scored Thursday, but it's cut off with the left pad by Cam Talbot. As now the Red Wings, Kane got it into Minnesota ice. He heads to change. Comfort down there fresh on the ice to play it behind the goal. Backhanded it to the far wall, Perron. Perron, far right wing, left it in trade spots with Comfort. The Northbrook, Illinois native, JT Comfort. Played it behind the Minnesota net. Nobody there for the Red Wings. It'll be taken by Middleton, but now Casper Rorgan gave him a jolt. Now pried the puck free behind the goal. Comfort for Perron to the near left wall. It's played up to Johansson. He rides the wall to the corner he goes to the far side now. Casper, a shot, save made by Gustafsson as he'll hold on the short side with 2:27 remaining on the first period. Good stuff down low by the Red Wings to force that turnover and generate a couple of chances. The best one coming from Casper. And then at the other end of the ice, Zuccarello for Kaprizov from the far dot to the near, a one-timer was shut down by Talbot, moving right to left with that left pad and keeping the Detroit lead intact 1-0. With 2:25 now to go in the first period as the Red Wings have to get back after the Wild clear their zone. As now behind the goal to our right, Sandin Pellikka played it up the boards. A man got upended. Trennan for the Wild. Meanwhile, we still play on far wall. Bouncing pucks controlled by Raymond to the right wing circle. A shot shouldered away by Gustafsson. Rebound to the near boards. Rolls out near the penalty boxes. Be grabbed by Urov, but it's offsides if he touches it, so it's left alone. And now Finney will grab it for the Red Wings. And from the winged wheel logo, backhands it in behind the Wild goal to our left. From the far corner boards, Brodin put it up into the skates at Trennan. It found Tarasenko. His pass ahead for Spurgeon was out of his reach. That allows Sherratt to skate straight in. Dropped it left wing boards. Larkin from the dot dropped it for Bernard Docker at the point. Slid it across. A one-timer from JVR. Got blocked in front by Marcus Foligno. And now behind the Wild net, it's played for Brodin. Fourth line against fourth line here now as the Red Wings get the fourth line on the ice. Meanwhile, Faber's up the far wall. A drop pass finds Marcus Foligno. Left wing circle. A shot into the glove of Cam Talbot as he'll hold with 83 seconds left in the first period. His sixth save of the period as a faceoff will be upcoming here to his right. So again, a reminder coming up today on Ultimate Sports Media, Sunday Night Baseball, as we're getting some Major League Baseball here on the channel. Once hockey starts to wind down a little more in the playoffs, I plan on joining in on the baseball party. My friend Robert also wants to join the mix. I'm sure Jake will join me as well. Maybe I'll get my dad. I want to do a Father's game, Cubs game with my dad, so maybe that could happen. But tonight, Matthew Owens has the Cardinals and the Tigers with you. Sunday Night Baseball. JT will be running scoreboard and producer duties as well. So that's all at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the Ultimate Sports Media channel. So the Red Wings early and the Tigers late. Good day to be a Michigan sports fan that's also a fan of the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. So long pause here. My OBS just said disconnecting. It says reconnected now, so I think we're good. Let me know if I'm still up. I'll check myself. But 75 seconds to go in the first period, and an icing whistle's been called here on the Red Wings. As it looks like on my stream, everything's okay. See myself and reacting like I was all startled, but I don't know why my OBS said disconnecting, but we're connected again. And the stream is all good. So face-off here to the left of Talbot. It's down to our right in the near face-off circle as Comfort against Hartman. Comfort's able to win that draw clean. Played it around the goal, and on the far side, it's thrown back to him on the near side by Perrant. JT Comfort in against Quinn Hughes on the backhand. Stuff attempt got poked by Gustafsson as the puck came to the far wall. Kaprizov will stick it in behind for Quinn Hughes. Tried to make a move, lost it. Comfort there on the takeaway. Quinn Hughes just hit a rut in the ice, and that puck couldn't stay on his stick. Now trying to get it back in the near corner away from Comfort in the final minute now of this first period. In that near corner, down to our left. It's dug out and found on Quinn Hughes' blade. He skates through the pie slice, and now out the far wall he goes. At the red line, nudged it on the wing for Kaprizov. Now left it down low in the far corner for Zuccarello. Hit hard there by Sider. Couldn't come up with that puck. Now does as it poked to him. Zuccarello up to the point. Quinn Hughes between the circles. Far wall now Faber. Slug it to the net. Went off a skate. Deflected back to Rasmussen for the Red Wings on the far side. And he'll chip it back out to center. Final 20 of the first period. Quinn Hughes resetting. Hounded here by DeBrincat, who's all over him at the Wild blue line. Still having a turnaround. Quinn Hughes. Valuable time ticket away here for the Wild in this first period. But now Faber on the right wing side up over the Red Wing line for Boldy. Backhanded one through the blue paint. That'll end up killing off the rest of the period. And through 20 minutes here this afternoon on Easter Sunday, the Red Wings own a 1-0 lead from Albert Johansson. Assists to Axel Sandin Pellikka and Patrick Kane, who gets his 51st point of the season. As that's the scoring through 20 minutes here today. When leading through 20 minutes this season, the Detroit Red Wings, they haven't done it often. This is only the 20th time this season, but when they have, they're 17-1-1 in the previous 19 games. The Wild, they don't trail very often after the first 20 minutes themselves. This is only the 24th time for them. They're 5-14-4 in the previous 23 games they've trailed through the first 20 minutes. Shots on goal were very dull and few and far between, as it was only 6 for the Wild. The Red Wings with a mere 3, as they were stuck on one shot on goal through the first 16 minutes of this game. But again, that one shot did go in at the time. It was Albert Johansson's third of the year from Sandin Pellikka and Patrick Kane, as the Red Wings lead it 1-0 through 20 minutes of play here today. You're listening to an NHL Matinee Watchalong on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel on this lovely Easter Sunday. Stick around, the second period's coming up between the Wild and the Red Wings right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel with yours truly, Jaric Rubel. Welcome back into the NHL on USM. Jaric Rubel with you from Detroit, where the Red Wings lead the Minnesota Wild 1-0 through the first 20 minutes of this game on this Easter Sunday. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by here for a matinee when I'm sure many of you have friends or plans with friends and family. As in that first period, the Red Wings struck 100 seconds in on their first shot of the game, and their only shot through the first 3/4 of that first period, as Albert Johansson got his third of the year from Sandin Pellikka and Patrick Kane, as they got the Red Wings up by a score of 1-0, and they've held that lead ever since as we get set here to begin period number 2. In this middle frame, the Red Wings will be attacking left to right. The Minnesota Wild will be going right to left. By the way, the jersey matchup in this game, the Red Wings wearing their regular home red uniforms with the iconic red winged wheel jersey with the white numbers and lettering on the backs and the arms of the jersey with their red helmets as well. The Minnesota Wild in their road white uniforms with the green pants. The numbering on the back is red, as well as the outline in it being very dark green. Their helmets are white with the red numbers on the back of the Minnesota helmets, as we are now set to begin period number 2, as it'll be the Larkin line once again with Raymond and Finney going up against Eriksson Ek, Matt Boldy, and Marcus Johansson, as Matt Boldy with 40 goals on the year. Marcus Johansson's a goal shy of his 200th career goal. See if that line could find the back of the net in this game. As we're underway in the second period, Joel Eriksson Ek's able to pull a draw back to Quinn Hughes, and the Wild will control as they dump it in from the far wing into the Wild or into the Red Wing zone, but it deflects out of play right away. So with that, we will have a stoppage with 19:52 remaining in the second period. Just got a glimpse of who's on the call for TNT with Brendan Burke, and it looks like Butch Goring's joining Brendan, as they're the regular crew for MSG calling Islanders hockey. So it seems like TNT gave Burkey the honors of having Butch join him here in this game for a national broadcast between two teams they don't work for. And now in front of the Wild bench off a faceoff, here's a turnover. Boldy, he's in for the shot, he scores! Matt Boldy right on cue, goal 41 on the season as the Wild tie this game at 1, 18 seconds in to period 2. So right in front of the Red Wing bench, Simon Edvinsson got hit with the little hip check from Matt Boldy, just a little jolt. It wasn't a big hit or anything, and it just lodged a puck free as he couldn't corral it. And then when it came back to Eriksson Ek, it deflected off of him back to Boldy, and he had his way right in to the Red Wings zone from the far right wing circle, snapped it past Cam Talbot, and Matt Boldy on his 25th birthday gets goal number 41 on the season. So Minnesota's tied this game up at 1 here right away into period 2. Now the puck's played with a high stick, so a whistle's going to go with 19:25 remaining here in the second period, as we'll take another look at this goal from the right wing dot. Just snapped it right through the 5-hole of Cam Talbot, as Cam Talbot tried to get down to the butterfly position in time, but couldn't get that left pad down quick enough. The right one was on the ice, but that one squeaked just between the legs and under the left pad. The stick was not in the right spot, and through the 5-hole the puck goes, and this game is tied up at 1. So face-off coming up in front of the Wild bench. It'll be Ryan Hartman going up against Andrew Kopp for this draw, as the Red Wing fans here getting back into their seats at Little Caesars Arena, one of the arenas in the NHL that makes you wait till play is stopped before you go back into your seats, as I went there last spring for a game against the Boston Bruins. Great arena. Had a very pleasant experience there as a Chicago fan joining the Red Wings here. I wore a Hawks jersey there and everything. Patrick Kane, of course, plays on the Red Wings, but the fans weren't having it as they hate Chicago up in Detroit. As now another ex-Blackhawk, DeBrincat, playing for the Red Wings, tried to clear his zone from the right wing. Couldn't, as now a shot came back to Talbot from Brodin. Didn't make it on net, though. And now on the near side, the wings are out. Bernard Docker for Patrick Kane. Pass forward to Brinkett. Ended up getting taken away by another ex-Blackhawk, Ryan Hartman. As now on the far wing, Kaprizov will drop it off for Brodin over the Red Wing line. Left it to the near circle. Here's Zuccarello. Got stick checked by Casper, but the puck came to the far wall. Hartman. Turn around. Shot. It went in! Might have been tipped by Kaprizov. Hartman just let it go from the far point. Talbot, while still standing, had it go past him on the near post. And 2 goals in the first 85 seconds of period 2 have the Wild in front. So a look here at the replay as Casper poked this puck away from Matt Zuccarello, and it came right to Ryan Hartman, who skated to the far boards in front of his own bench, and he shot it. It went right off the inside of the right knee of Kirill Kaprizov. And this Kirill guy, man, he hates when Matt Boldy overtakes him for the team leading goals in Minnesota on Thursday. Boldy scored 39 and 40 to pass him for the team lead. He came right back to get his 40th, and now right after Boldy gets his 41st, he gets his 41st, and now right back in come the Wild again on the far side. Tarasenko driving in a right pad save made by Talbot. It was not a pretty one as he was sunk into his net, and it very could have easily been pushed over the goal line. The Wild here have come to play in period 2 as they're all over the Red Wings in the first 2 minutes, but unable to come up with the puck is Urhoff as Johansson was able to cut him off, and now here comes Bird up the right side. Got it up ahead, tipped into the Wild zone by Rasmussen. Behind the Wild net to our right, it's Petrie from the trapezoid playing it up on the far wing. Tarasenko on the logo. Middleton had it poked away by Major. Carter Major in, straight ahead. Casper a snapshot in and out of the glove of Gustafsson. He wants to cover it, and he's able to gather it to do just that. And now a crowd's going to gather to his right. Casper and Urhoff are getting into it with one another, and Middleton threw a jab from behind, and he got caught 100%. Wes McCauley saw that. He's got his fist up for a rough. And Jacob Middleton will go for Sock and Casper in from behind. So the Red Wings here down a goal, I believe should get this power play. I've been wrong before when I've seemed very confident about what the penalty will be on, but it seemed very certain that Middleton was going to be the one getting tagged there as he socked Casper from behind. Another look here at the save by Talbot on Tarasenko as he tried to perhaps get loose and do the Peter Forsberg, just didn't have enough of an angle. And Talbot was able to get it with his right pad. Nothing was able to get pushed past him. And the Wild, though, up 2-1 here with 2 goals here early in this period. Middleton does go to the box, so the Red Wings power play is going to happen as 2 minutes are on the clock for the league's 9th best power play on home ice, 24%, 11th overall in the NHL at 22%. The Wild PK 18th in the NHL, 78%, and overall on the road 10th in the league at 81.7. Face off to the right of Gustafsson. McCarron's able to win it back against Larkin, but unable to clear the Wild, as on the near side, DeBrincat will keep it. Played it up to Kane. Across it goes Seider. To the far wall, it'll be played by Raymond. Back up top to Seider. Mo Seider gave it to Raymond, working to the circle. Dropped it down low to DeBrincat. Played it back up far wall at the far point. It's Raymond. Near side Seider. His shot off the leg of Marcus Foligno. It ricochets back to center. And Seider has to get back with 25 gone by on the power play. The penalty was issued to Urhoff. My apologies, not Middleton, as I thought maybe Middleton, after giving that left jab, was going to be the one to go. But Urhoff ends up sitting, as now the Wild have 1:20 left to kill off on this Red Wing power play. Right wing circle. Raymond, a shot, goes off the side of the net. He got poke checked by Middleton, but the puck came to Larkin. Played it back up. Raymond had it right up his stick and now fooled Seider, who couldn't corral it, as he now has to skate back through neutral in his own zone. So he drops it off now for DeBrincat, or I should say Raymond on the near side, 23, not 93. Now Larkin in straight away, chipped it to the near corner, goes after it, got past Brodin to it. Now on the trapezoid, Spurgeon can't clear it. Now on the far side, Brodin's trying. Came to Patrick Kane, gloved it to his stick. Now he's tied up on the far wall. It came free to DeBrincat, nudged it to the back. Seider down low, Larkin, a backhander off the side of the net, a follow-up off the side of the net as well, as Gustafsson was on his belly and there was room to elevate. Now on the near wall, Kane up to Seider, looking to the near circle. Kane shooting off the right pad, came to DeBrincat, a shot, got the glass. Now it came up the near side and rolling out to center, as the Red Wings will have to chase back. Final 20 of this power play, down a goal, 16 minutes left in this second period. On the right wing, the second unit's over the boards. Perron plays it around. Went off the skate of Kopp behind the goal. Middleton now is pinned up against the glass. 3 bodies for the Red Wings, 3 for the Wild. In that trapezoid to our right. The puck will be dug out to Faber. Up on the far wall, Eck. Out of the box now comes Yurov. They're all in together with Boldy. Boldy on the far wall tried to give it back down low to Eck, but it's taken away by Sandin Pellikka. He pool cued it ahead to Kopp. His backhand for Finney was red. And now on the left wing into the zone comes Johansson. Left wing dot pulled up onto his forehand. Now played it to the point. Faber left side. Brock Faber looking here on the left wing at the dot on his backhand, driving, put it on top of the paint, cleared up and out by Kopp on his backhand, rolls between the benches into the Wild zone. And now both teams will change. But Quinn Hughes on a reception of a pass up the left wing. He's in, driving to the goal and a backhand save made by Talbot. Penalty coming up here on the Red Wings as there's going to be a slash called. And now just minutes after killing off a Red Wing power play, the Minnesota Wild get a power play of their own. As now going to the box for Detroit, it's going to be Sandin Pellikka. So Minnesota will get their first power play opportunity of today's game. Overall, in the NHL, they're 4th in the league on the man advantage, 24.7%. 5th in the NHL on the road at 26.2%. Meanwhile, the Red Wings PK, 30th in the league at home. It's not great, 72%. And then overall, 23rd in the NHL at 77.6%. So the Red Wings with a couple of opportunities on their power play. The Wild were able to kill it off. We'll see what Minnesota does here on their man advantage. 15:03 remaining in the second period. Red Wings now down a goal after surrendering 2 in the first 2 minutes of the period after leading after the first 1-0. Now off the draw to the right of Talbot. The Wild are able to control as Quinn Hughes has it to the far wall at the circle. Here's Kaprizov. His shot through the blue paint came up the near side to Zuccarello. Played it in the middle. It's bunted back to Hughes to the left dot. Now Zuccarello again. Up between the dots, it's Quinn Hughes drifting to the right wing circle. He's into it. Put it down low. Boldy through the paint. Couldn't find Kaprizov. Came up to Zuccarello left point. 30 seconds already elapsed on this Minnesota power play. Left wing circle, Zuccarello across, Kaprizov off the side of the net, played in the slot. Here's Eck and a right pad save made by Talbot. Rebound to the left wing board, Zuccarello. Up top, Quinn Hughes walking in, shooting, got the glass, ricocheted the cider on the near side. He'll put it off the glass, and down it'll go, and the Red Wings will get a change. So 70 seconds remain here on this Minnesota power play. Quinn Hughes now back with it up ahead for Kaprizov, right wing over the red line. Drifts now over the Red Wing blue. On the left side, he is now. Played it around the goal to the far wall. Quinn Hughes takes it away from Kopp. Tried to play it niftily to Eriksson Ek, but it came to the near corner where Bernard Docker will have an easy clear. And down the ice it'll go. It'll be forced to be played by Gustafsson as Kopp was right in. And Gustafsson's able to get it to Zuccarello. Left wing in front of the penalty box, right side for Kaprizov in. Far wall now Tarasenko dropped it back behind the Red Wing goal. On the near side, it's sent back up by Bernard Docker. It'll go down the ice, and the Wild are down to the final 30 seconds of their power play. And a takeaway by Larkin, who took a good angle in. Gustafsson didn't see him. Has it at the right wing dot now. Pivoting here against Zuccarello, shielding with one hand on his stick. Almost got held by Zuccarello, but no call. As now the puck's free behind the Wild net, taken by Spurgeon. Up they come in the final Baker's dozen of the power play. Tarasenko, the ex-Red Wing, stuck it to the far corner to our left. Played around the goal by Hartman. Back up now to Vladdy Tarasenko. Behind the goal in the trapezoid, it's played back to Ryan Hartman. Hartman here, center. Tarasenko shot off the skate of Sider. Came back up, not out. Penalty time's up. 5-on-5 we go. Down low and a shot. Score! From the far circle, Tarasenko. And the Wild are up 3-1 with 3 goals in the first 7:03 of period 2. So Vladimir Tarasenko played career game 900 yesterday, and in career game 901 gets his 22nd goal of the year against his former team. It was a good block by Sider on the try by Hughes, but it was blocked right to the point. And Middleton was able to fling it across. It was sticked by Johansson, but it did go right to Tarasenko, who picked his spot like the dry saddle snipe. There was only little room on the short side over the shoulder from the far right wing circle, but it went over that shoulder of Talbot. And Tarasenko, with his 20th of the year, has the Wild up 3-1 in period 2. So the Red Wings desperate now as they need these points, especially in a cross-conference game, as now it's played up to the point. Here is Sherratt to the near side, Bernard Docker. And what I mean by the cross-conference game is typically these games this point of the year tend to go to overtimes. It feels like both teams not always have a gentleman's agreement, but it just feels like when both teams need the points that these cross-conference games get there. Because in the final 5 minutes or so of regulation, it seems like the teams don't really care if the other team gets an extra point or not, so they're content with just trying to win on 3-on-3. Well, that's how this game should end up playing out if you're the Red Wings, but they've been hemmed in here in this second period. They're trying to get one back, but Larkin from between the circles had a shot blocked to the far corner to our right by McCarron. Puck behind the Wild goal. Middleton trying to get it out, had trouble. Brodino try, can't either. On the far side, Raymond trying to stay with it, tried to twist free, but got poked away by Marcus Foligno. And now here is Nick to play it off the far glass. It got past the red line, and at the Red Wing blue, it's stashed back the other way by Sider. It'll get as far as the red line before it's played back by the Wild out of play. And with 11:36 to go here in the second period, we'll pause for a timeout. 3-1 Minnesota after 3 goals in the first 7 minutes and 3 seconds of the period. Give them from down 1-0 up 3-1 here on this Easter Sunday. Welcome back into Detroit, where they were once up 1-0 to begin this period, but goals by Boldy, Kaprizov, and Tarasenko have the Wild up 3-1 here in the middle frame. Happy Easter, everybody. Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. As a face-off here at the Hockey Town logo at center with 11.5 to go in the second is won by the Wild, who are attacking right to left in this period. Quinn Hughes, Olympic gold medalist with Team USA, gives it to Faber, who won one with him. As now on the far wall, Hughes found Tarasenko, who twisted one into the Red Wing zone. Talbot now will play it. Up the far wall it goes. Be sticked by DeBrincat to Kopp. Over the Wild line they go. Near wing Kane. Across DeBrincat. Slung one to the net. Didn't make it to the goal. And now out to center on the near side. The puck rolls. It'll be Albert Johansson, the lone Red Wing goal scorer, with it gliding through center, through all 3 lines. Into the Wild zone he goes. Dropped it to DeBrincat in the slot. Got a stick check. Puck to Urov now up for Tarasenko. And the Wild patiently will get it out. So back into Red Wing ice down to our left with under 11 minutes to go now in the second period. Be Albert Johansson again up between the Wild and Red Wing bench for Comfer, who will now twist back in his own end, and he'll leave it for Sandin Pellikka, and now he'll return it right back to Comfer in front of the penalty boxes. Try to backhand pass to Casper, miserable, went right to Hughes, now right back to Comfer as Hughes turned it over. On the near wall, over the Wild line, he wrapped it around the goal. Missed Casper, came to the point Sherratt. From the far side, stashed it back down low behind the goal to our right. Comfer dug it out from the far circle in the slot with a shot. Missed and got the glass. To the near near side. It's picked up by the Wild. Hartman out. Could be a 4-on-2 if they want to hurry. Hartman slowly over the Red Wing line, straight ahead. Got stick checked in behind by Compher on a good back check. Or that's Perron, rather. 57, not 37. Both right-handed shots with those numbers is killing me on a TV monitor. But back on the left wing into the Red Wing zone is Hartman. Hartman will backhand it down behind the Red Wing goal to our left. There's Compher with it. And now Compher just taken right off it by Kaprizov. Just terrible heart by Compher. Now in the slot, Zuccarello. Near side, Brodin, a shot, and Talbot there to bail him out. As Compher was out there for a long time. Still not a great effort. Just knocked right off the puck. And it was a very just like lazy stick checker. Just a check there by Kaprizov. It wasn't even anything too heavy. And Compher just gassed, gave that puck up, and the Wild had another scoring opportunity. But Talbot stops Brodin. And we'll take another break here. Wild up 3-1 on this Easter Sunday, halfway through this matinee. Back with you in Detroit, 3-1 Minnesota. The Wild over the Red Wings in this one thus far. If the Wild beat the Red Wings in any fashion, the Canadiens will clinch a playoff berth as they currently sit second in the Atlantic Division, just 2 points back of the Tampa Bay Lightning for first. And those Lightning will be in action against the Sabres tomorrow in a game that will determine who holds first place at the end of tomorrow. And it could be Tampa at 104, or perhaps it'll be a three-way tie of Montreal, Buffalo, and Tampa, all at 102. What a bumpy ride to the finish, literally everywhere in the NHL. The Wild here trying to pass the Stars for second in the division and get home ice in the first round. The Pacific Division's just the messiest pillow fight you'll ever see. I'll use McDavid's term. Eastern Conference wildcard race is nuts. The Atlantic's just bouncing around in terms of seeding. The Metropolitan isn't safe for that third spot as the Isles could fall out. Insane stuff here in this Eastern Conference. And the Red Wings down 2 goals, need to find a way to get 2 points in the standings as Alex DeBrincat, trying to lead the charge, has 4 goals in his last 5 games. Gave it to Edvinsson. Now it's played not to Kane, just right to the Wild. And a miserable pass sends Minnesota right back in. Eckel tip it to the far corner. Edvinsson gave it right back to him on a turnover. Eriksson Ek here trying to shield for the Wild down to our left in the near corner. Couldn't though as it's played up the wall by Detroit, but Rasmussen can't clear yet. Came back behind for Seider, who took a hit from Ek, but got it up, and it will get out. And Patrick Kane will fling it for DeBrincat. He'll tip it in, and the Red Wings will get a change. Behind the Wild goal is Gustafsson. With under 8.5 to go in the second period, Tarasenko with the latest Wild goal. Played it ahead to the logo for Yurov. Back to Tarasenko, far wall to Trennan. The Russian line over the boards here. Tarasenko, far circle, pinball to the slot. Came now to the Red Wings, where it's trying to be sent out to center by Mazur, or I should say JVR, and now here is Mazur running it through his legs, as now it rolls through the slot to the far corner. Mazur will get it back, cutting his way to the slot, dropped it up high, Bernard Docker, looking right to the right wing boards, heel skate, played it behind the goal again. Mazur got upended there by Petrie, put him on his wallet in the trapezoid. Meanwhile, on the near side, JVR can't come up with this puck. The Wild will send it out, and the Red Wings chase back yet again with only 6 shots on net here through the first through the first 33 minutes of this hockey game. They had 3 shots in the first period, only 3 shots through the first 12 and a half of this period, and now a turnover at center. Kaprizov left wing into the zone, a shot, he scores! Kirill Kaprizov gets number 42 on the year and overtakes Boldy for the team lead, and the Red Wings are falling apart. So Kirill Kaprizov's already tied Nikita Kucherov for the 3rd most 40-goal seasons by an active-born player outside North America. Only trails Ovechkin and Draisaitl as he adds to that 40-goal campaign with 2 goals here today. 41 and 42. The 42nd one from the left wing dot going over the blocker of Cam Talbot. And it's 4-1 Minnesota. And they're back in looking for more. Kaprizov on the back door for Hartman on the follow-up to the face-off. Almost got beaver-tailed in. And now on the far wall, it's a turnover by Finney. Zuccarello dropped it. Hartman shot it. Got blocked. Now the Red Wings on the counterattack. They have to start showing desperation now as it'll be flung in by Raymond. Behind the Wild net to the right side. It's Faber up the boards. It'll get out as Seider can't hold it. Seider now taken off the puck by Zuccarello. Hartman will fling it far wall to Kaprizov. He'll backhand it down low behind the goal. Talbot quickly out to play it. Tied up with the referee now is Edvinsson as Hartman's trying to get it away, but Edvinsson will get it. The referee just right in front of him the whole time, made him panic with the puck, and now it's turned over. Zuccarello is shot from the slot, went over the crossbar, got the glass. Talbot hates this. He just goes to the trapezoid and covers the puck. And with 6:33 to go here in the second, if I'm Cam Talbot, I just go into the circle right now and just start barking at my team. I mean, I'm a Blackhawks fan. I realistically don't like either of these two teams, but like I love hockey, so it's a good game, right? Exactly. But I can't believe that like the Red Wings are falling apart like this for the 4th straight season. This is insane that they are playing this miserable of hockey past the 60 game mark for the 4th straight season. Like it is. Todd McClellan's right. It's the character in the room, the players that he's been given. They're not standing the test of an 82 game season. And I do fear for the Red Wings fans who can't clear their zone again are going to face another shot from Spurgeon. Talbot can't make the save there as it was blocked by a diving Edvinsson. At first it looked like it went into Talbot's glove, but the Red Wings here just gotta just show some signs of desperation. But I've always said the Red Wings, when they're down a goal, they play with their sticks tight and they just try too hard in the sense that they mess up way too much. And you just see when they score. If they somehow come back to try and tie this game, they're gonna celebrate like they're about to win Olympic gold again. Like, I don't know, something about just the characteristics of this Red Wings team is not ideal moving forward. And I think Steve Yzerman, at this point of his tenure in Detroit, needs to start being questioned a little more heavily around the entire NHL. I think some of the fans in Detroit are starting to realize that the Yzer plan's not exactly going as planned, and at this point with all these aging veterans, it's not looking great for what the Red Wings might be able to do in the coming years. Now here's a shot by DeBrincat that's going to be snared out of the air by Gustafsson with the glove. That'll send us to another break here. Final one of period 2. Minnesota up 4-1 on this Easter Sunday. 2 goals in this period by Kaprizov, 1 by Tarasenko and 1 by Boldy. And the Red Wings are searching for answers while the Wild are searching for home ice. back here in Detroit. 4-1 Minnesota over the Red Wings, and news being reported here in the chat, courtesy Classics, aka Colin. It's a 4-year deal for Pete DeBoer with the New York Islanders. He said he was only going to go to a team where he felt that they were ready to win, and I think Matthew Shaver probably won his heart over, and pray for Ilya Sorokin as well in the blue paint, as you never know what DeBoer might think of him after a bad playoff run. But DeBoer, 4 years, that's perfect term for him because he's never lasted more than 4 years anywhere he's coached. So the Isles here, he thinks they have a shot to win a Stanley Cup. They have 4 years to try and prove him right. Otherwise, he'll likely be moved on to other parties. So 5 left here in the second period. Detroit, imagine they fire McClellan. I saw somebody in a chat, part of the Ice Guys, live 7 days a week on YouTube, saying, how about they fire McClellan and bring in Bruce Boudreau? That made me crack up. I don't think that would happen, but at this point, wouldn't shock me is I'm going to just kind of talk here while the Red Wings try and figure themselves out. If something happens, I'll start giving play-by-play again. But the Red Wings, again, it's nothing to do with the coaching. It's fully on the GM at this point and the players on the ice. And before the break, I was talking about the aging veterans. You got Kopp. DeBrincat's still a good age, but he's up there. And it's hey, what are you going to have around him if everyone else is gone? Kane's up there, Perron's up there, Comfer's up there, Van Riemsdyk's up there, Sherratt's up there. I mean, both their goaltenders, Gibbs, they got Kosa in the AHL, so I'm not really too concerned about their goaltending future, but still their goalies are old. I just don't really see what Yzerman was trying to do. And the trade for Justin Falk, by the way, who's not playing today at the trade deadline, could just end up being horrific on paper, as the Red Wings could end up missing the playoffs. And while I think the Blues might be screwed after losing those games to the Sharks and the Red Wings, imagine the Red Wings traded a first for Justin Falk for a playoff run, and they ended up giving their first round pick to the Blues, and the Blues make the playoffs while the Red Wings miss. It's just a miserable look all around, and I feel bad for the fans in Hockeytown, despite them being kind of snarky with me when I went to LCA last year as a Blackhawk fan. It's an Original Six fan base. It's better for hockey when the Original Six teams are in the playoffs. And as a Blackhawk fan myself, you see Kane on this roster, and you want to see playoff Patrick Kane one more time, at least in his career. So it's just unfortunate that this era of Red Wings hockey's just been honestly miserable. It's the best way to describe it. It gets fun at times, but it's only fun because there's hope that maybe, just maybe, they could break the drought. And then they've broken the fans' hearts every year in March. And this is going to be a real tough climb out of the abyss if they're not able to make the playoffs this year. By the way, they've iced the puck, so with 3:09 to go in the second period, should be an ozone draw coming up here for the Wild. While I've done all that yapping, the Red Wings just one shot on goal. They're up to 7 now overall in the game, as the Minnesota Wild are shutting them down. They lead the NHL with a .905 team save percentage, and overall 8 shutouts in the NHL. The Islanders are the only team with more, with 9. So this Minnesota team defensively shuts it down, and off the draw, Talbot had to make a punching blocker save as a shot came right towards him, believe off the stick of Matthew Boldy. And now the Red Wings aren't going to ice the puck here. It should have went for icing, as it was a tie, though, that went to Comfer with Jonas Brodin. But the Wild come up with the puck anyway in the final 3 minutes of the second period. Kaprizov over the wing wheel, now the Red Wing blue line to the far wall at the right wing dot. He skates up now near the blue line, left it for Middleton, fresh on, dropped it Hartman covering at the point, played for a tip, save made Talbot, rebound behind Kaprizov, got upended there by Sherratt cleanly, and now a pass up to Hartman at the far point was not held in. Now the Red Wings scurrying to change on the fly. The Wild try to do the same, and a pass up ahead finds Marcus Foligno. Tap pass to his brother Nick on the far wall. Nick dropped it. Now has to get it back after overskating it was Jeff Petrie. Is now the elder skatesman on the ice here for the Minnesota Wild. Perhaps Stevie Yzerman's doing some scouting for the Foligno brothers potentially for next season. Just joking, of course. It's on the left wing circle. Here's Middleton for the Wild. Playing it through the blue paint, got stick to the far side by Talbot alertly. Raymond now will play it in behind his own net for Seider on the near side. Final 2 minutes of period 2. Larkin, far wing now for Raymond into the Wild zone. Cuts to the slot, trying to fight through Nick Foligno. Does to the near side. Backhanded one in front, cut off by the Wild Middleton. And now here are the Foligno brothers out to center. center. Now for Petrie in front of the penalty boxes. Backhanded one with 100 seconds to go in the period to the Red Wings zone. Albert Johansson, the lone goal scorer, up the near wing for Raymond. Past the penalty boxes over the Wild blue line, he slowly skates. Fluttered one behind to the trapezoid, pinballed in front to Johansson. Tried to give it to Petrie. He's now tied up with Kopp. The puck safely on the near side now for Quinn Hughes. Up for Boldy. Across it goes at the logo Johansson. Over the Red Wing line he goes. Tied up, and now the puck free to the near corner. Sandine Pellico nudge it ahead, and Kopp ahead for Kane. Patrick Kane going to have to make something happen himself here if he wants to. Backhand pass across for DeBrincat. Went off the skate of Faber to the far wall with the shot. In that far corner, the defenseman Sherratt down low, not moving his legs, now just getting back to the point as the Wild have the puck. As it goes up the right side, but only a Red Wing skater's there. It's Bernard Docker. Across, Sherratt, a shot, blocked away by Gustafsson to the far wall. Now here's Boldy pinned up against the far wall. Final 50 seconds of the period. Puck free to the far circle. Take it away, Faber. Nudged this way for Hughes. Through his legs it went. Out to center, though. And Bernard Docker will sling it cross ice. Onsides to Brinkett. Far left wing circle with a shot. Save made Gustafsson. And he'll hold with 37.2 to go in the second period. Just the 6th shot on goal this period for the Detroit Red Wings. Minnesota with 8 in this frame, but 4 have found the back of the net. So again, a reminder, busy week of hockey ahead on USM. We have 4 games for you in the next 7 days, and I'm sure Matt might add more as he's able to loosen up his schedule at the NCAA tournament ends Monday. By the way, the national championship for that tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. Matthew Owens and JT on the call. But Tuesday, Avalanche Blues with me. Thursday, Blue Jackets Sabres with me. Saturday, Golden Knights Avs with me, with perhaps a little added surprise to that broadcast, so stay tuned. And then Sunday, maybe the final Crosby-Ovi matchup we ever lay our eyes on, or perhaps the Capitals sneak into the 3 seed, being only 2 points back. And that's a first-round playoff preview. Fun week of hockey ahead with me and you guys right here on USM. You'll be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notifications to know when I go live. And just so you know, 25 seconds have gone by in play, and the Red Wings did absolutely nothing. And the puck's out the center for the final 10 seconds. They try and get back in, but it'll get dumped behind the Wild goal, thrown right back up. And now Trennan will pin it against the boards. That kills the period. And the Red Wings got absolutely annihilated in that 20-minute frame as the Wild strike 4 times. Kaprizov, laughing on the Wild bench, has 2 of them as he gets goals 41 and 42 on the year. Tarasenko got his 22nd of the season, and Matt Boldy, who got the first goal of the period 18 seconds in, gets his 41st. Eriksson Ek the assist on the Boldy goal. Hartman and Zuccarello on the Kaprizov one. Hartman chimed in again on the Tarasenko goal, as well as Middleton. And then Faber on the assist to Kaprizov's 42nd of the year. So it's all Wild here as we go into period 3. They've never lost in regulation this season when leading through 2 periods. They're 31-0-4. The Red Wings 5-23-3 when trailing through 40 minutes. I have not exactly laid too much eyes on the Red Wings the last few games. I did watch the ABC game against the Flyers, and I'm kind of getting vibes there to where this team's going to be desperate enough to where I think we'll see some Red Wings goals in a cluster. In the third, I just don't know if it's going to be chaotic enough for them to get even a point or 2 in this game. And the Wild are looking like they might be on their way to getting to within 2 points of Dallas for home ice in the Central. We'll see what happens in the third. I sense some wackiness coming our way, so stick around. You're listening to an Easter Sunday matinee of an NHL Watchalong with Jaric Rubel right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Welcome back in to Detroit, where it's the third period on this Easter Sunday with the Red Wings trailing the Minnesota Wild 4-1. After 4 unanswered goals were scored by the Minnesota Wild in that second period. Matt Boldy, Kirill Kaprizov each getting their 41st of the year. Vladimir Tarasenko then with his 22nd made it 3-1. Before Kirill Kaprizov then passed Matthew Boldy to get 241. And I mentioned on the broadcast Thursday, and I mentioned when Kaprizov scored earlier, that it seems like they're racing for the team lead in goals. And funny enough, Michael Russo tweeted out 48 minutes ago, Kirill Kaprizov said the other day, anytime Matt Boldy scores, he wants to as well, and vice versa. And it took him just a minute and 7 seconds to answer Boldy's goal in period number 2 to tie him for the team lead with 41 goals, before then overtaking him with his 42nd later on in the period. So in this third period, the Red Wings will be attacking right to left. The Minnesota Wild going left to right. If the Wild win this game in any fashion, the Montreal Canadiens will clinch a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Red Wings just need a point or two. They need anything to stay afloat here in the Eastern Conference. 4-way tie, 88 points for the final wild card spot. And then the Caps right behind at 87 points. And as well, that third spot in the Metro's open for the 3 other Metro teams chasing the Islanders. So it's interesting to see what will happen in these final 2 weeks. Third period's underway as the Wild are able to win a draw. It gets flung down to our right in the Red Wing zone, but out the center it'll get sent. And Finney will chip it in from the near left wing. Need to see a sense of urgency out of the Red Wings in this third period as a shot from a giveaway on the near side by Raymond was fought off by Gustafsson. But the Red Wings, if they don't have any legs, any chances in this third period, and just don't make me feel like they want it more, I'm just going to have to buy some flowers and properly bury them for the season if that ends up being the case. Shout out Mitch and Paulie from Follow the Money. That worked out very well for them with the San Francisco Giants last year in baseball before they ended up going on a hot run, almost making the MLB playoffs. It's just a funny term to pronounce a team dead here in sports, and makes me laugh when I hear it. As now to the left here of the Minnesota Wild blue paint, Gustafsson will watch a face-off between Hartman and Kopp. Kopp wins it. DeBrincat shot it right off of Brodeen's stick out of play. We'll do this again in the face-off dot to the left of Gustafsson. So Alex DeBrincat this year for the Red Wings made it to the 80-point mark. And yeah, that's the first time an American-born player has ever gotten 80 points in a Detroit Red Wings sweater, which is crazy to think about. And he's 1 goal away from his 40th of the year. Face-off won by the Wild to the left of Gustafsson, and it's pitchforked out into the Red Wing zone. Bernard Docker will get back on it. 50 seconds gone by here in period 3. Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me on this Easter Sunday. Here comes a 2-on-1 developing for the Red Wings. Kopp left wing across Kane right circle, a shot, and that missed the net. Came up the near wall to DeBrincat to the point. A shot from the point. Sherratt got tipped to the far wall. Kane will play it to the point. Bernard Docker, a shot tipped by Kopp. Shoulder save by Gustafsson. Rebound to the near side. Behind the goal, it's Kane. Patrick Kane shielding here on Jared Spurgeon. Has a point tonight. Played it up to the point. Sherratt looking, shooting into the glove of Gustafsson. Moving to his left to make that stop. Now Hartman and Kopp are gathering with one another. Kane and Spurgeon as well tangling up with each other. As Patrick Kane, if you see him starting to get a little physical and perhaps think about dropping the gloves, things aren't going well. I'll forever remember a fight back now 9 years ago in Florida. The Blackhawks were on a East Coast trip, the Carolina and the double Florida games against the Panthers and the Lightning, but get smoked in Sunrise by the Panthers. Marcia Show with a hat trick, but Patrick Kane fought Olli Jokinen in that game. And that's, I believe, the only time I've ever really seen Patrick Kane drop the gloves in his career. And it was just frustration boiling over that entire game. And I had never seen Kane that frustrated before, and I actually got to ask him about that before, and he was surprised that I even remembered such a moment in his career, as it was such a random, bizarre thing that stood out in a game that didn't even matter and they got smoked in. But just the little things stick out to me in this sport. The more you watch it, a lot of the basic stuff starts to just kind of get meshed in the files in your brain, and the other fun stuff stands out a bit more. Is now the Red Wings, they have some good zone time here, but they have not put a shot towards Gustafsson. Johansson put one off the leg at the left circle of a Wild defenseman. Now he had it back but turned it over, and Minnesota will flip it back the other way. Rolling into the Red Wing zone, it'll roll far enough for icing, but it doesn't get whistled. As on the near side, McCarron from the corner played it behind the goal. Johansson had it taken away. Back behind the goal, Zuccarello, or I should say Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes a shot with a right pad save was Talbot there with traffic in front by Marcus Foligno. Carter Major will carry through center over the Red Wing logo, chipped it in off the glass to the far corner. Left it there for Rasmussen. It bounced over his blade, though. Tarasenko got it up and out, and now Seider will snap it right back into Minnesota territory. Now behind the Minnesota net again on the right side. It'll be played up the wall. Trent will go rink wide with it. Quinn Hughes will carry on now over the line into the Red Wing zone. Put on the brakes. Up to the blue line he goes. Played it to Urhoff. He got squeezed off the play. Seider will take it back behind his own net. Mo Seider now on the near side, on his backhand, up the wall with it, got over the Wild line. Rasmussen will head to change, and behind the Wild net, it'll be taken by Brodin, but a whistle here with 17:04 to go, and it looks like they might have called icing, as that was not tipped en route. So face-off coming up here in the O-Zone for the Wild, up 4-1 here over the Detroit Red Wings. Again, the Minnesota Wild clinched a playoff spot for the 12th time in the last 14 seasons. That happened on Thursday on this very network as they hosted the Vancouver Canucks. And again, as I mentioned, if they win this game here today, the Montreal Canadiens out east will clinch a spot. It's weird how it looks. Tampa's in first with an X next to their name. Montreal's in second with no X. Then Buffalo's in third with an X, meaning they clinched a playoff spot. So it just kind of looks weird when you look at the NHL app. That's not something you see every day. But this NHL season's not something you see every day either. It's been very bizarre. And I still think if it's not one of the teams from the Central Division to win the Cup, I have no idea. Genuinely none. As now the Red Wings off a turnover in neutral try and step back in, but Raymond couldn't get it on net. Ricocheted back out to center. But yeah, the Central Division, Minnesota, Dallas, I think 6-7 game first round series. And we'll see. I mean, Colorado should get to the second round, and it's just I think whoever wins that second round series should likely win the Stanley Cup this year. Here's Sherratt with a shot from the left point, got gloved all the way by Gustafsson. Now Larkin and Spurgeon getting tangled with one another. Eriksson Ek in there as well. As the Red Wings fans, man, just looking around. When there's crowds gathering, like they're not banging on the glass, they're not into it or anything. They're all sitting there just very quiet. They know what's going on in the standings, and they're just kind of hoping and praying that somehow a miracle could happen. And they'll witness playoff hockey for the first time in this building. Again, they've never played a Stanley Cup playoff game at Little Caesars Arena. Last time they made the playoffs was 2016, the second to last season before the Joe Louis Arena departed us here in the National Hockey League. As they played the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 2016 first round, eliminated in 5 games. Then the next regular season closed down the Joe and opened it up Little Caesars Arena here in 2017-18. So in the Wild D zone, the Red Wings off a draw, trying to control with the top line on the ice, but unfortunately for them, it's thrown back into their side of the rink, and now Sherratt has to get back on it. On the near wall, Larkin messed around here with Boldy, teammates on the Olympic team for Team USA, winning gold medals together, as now Larkin trying to get after a puck on the near side won't, and it's going to be icing here on Detroit with 4:04 played in this third period. Face-off coming back down now to the Red Wings defensive zone. Again, later today on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, women's basketball, national championship game, 3 p.m. Eastern. Cardinals-Tigers with Matt Owens. By the way, the women's game's with Seth Eves. Cardinals-Tigers, 7 Eastern, 6 Central with Matt Owens. And the national championship game for the NIT conference will also be at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's with Seth Eves right here on USM. So the Red Wings win a draw following the icing to the right of Talbot. It's cleared back into Minnesota ice to our left. And now Faber to Hartman in front of the penalty boxes. Goes across to Hughes. Now chipped into Red Wing ice. It bounces to the near corner down to our right. Zuccarello controls and skates through the trapezoid to the far wall. Played it up to the point. Kaprizov nudged it this way. Hughes skating to the right circle. Made a man miss. Sandin Pellikka fed it across Faber. Can't hold the feed. Being watched now by DeBrincat trying to protect against him. Lost it. Now DeBrincat ahead. Patrick Kane trying to get a breakaway, and the pass is just out of his reach, as Patrick Kane would have been in all alone from the blue line in, but he couldn't field that pass cleanly from the Cat. So now on the right wing, Hartman back in over the Red Wing line. Chipped it for Kaprizov, tried to give it back, but Seider cut him off. Now Kopp on the near side trying to move it along, couldn't as Hartman took it. Flooded across to the far wall. It came out to center, and now Spurgeon will whack it right back in as DeBrincat and Kane were hunting it down. But that'll cause both teams to change here. 5 minutes gone by in period number 3. Red Wings need some sort of urgency. They've started to put shots on net. They got 6 in this period to just 1 of the Minnesota Wild. But they've not tested Gustafsson too aggressively, as overall none of the scoring chances have struck me as high danger. So back through center ice, Comfer on the near wall, kind of stashed one behind the Wild net. Gustafsson left it for Brodin, who almost overskated it, had to get back quickly and nudge it on the near side. Foligno, I think, might have closed his hand on the puck. Where is it? Might be at his feet. It looked like he was caught up in his jersey, and it now will get squirted up to the point. Edvinsson on the left side. Down low, a puck deflects off a Perron's stick, came to the near wall for Marcus Foligno to bank it off the glass to center. Mo Seider back after it in his own zone for the Wings. 14 minutes left in regulation time. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media page on this Easter Sunday, as the Wild are whistled for an offsides with 14 minutes exactly to go in this third period. So just moments ago, Kane almost with a breakaway to try and get the Red Wings on the board to cut the deficit to just 2. Has 506 career goals. If he would have scored that one, would have tied Jean Beliveau with 507 for 46th place on the NHL's all-time list. And his 1,393 career points is now bumped up to 1394th in assists today. That ties Luc Robitaille for 25th place on the NHL's all-time leading scorer list. So Kaner at this stage of his career, with every point he gets, is either going to get super close to passing a legend in the all-time standings, or he will end up doing that on the ice that very night. So it's always milestone watch for Kaner. Unfortunately for him, could not get that breakaway try on his blade a moment ago. So down to our right, the Red Wings' fourth line's able to escape their defensive zone. Out to center, Sherratt played it for James Van Riemsdyk. Chipped it behind the Wild net. It'll go to the near corner where it was played by Gustafsson. And now Sherratt poked it back to the point. Major goes right out of the zone as he was forced out by Urov, and I think just didn't realize where he was on the ice and had to reset here as the Red Wings now will make changes with 13:18 left in the third period. Here comes Raymond at the red line, near side, dumped it in. Hughes fell over. Finney has a fast track to it. Played it in front, went off a skate back to him. Now Raymond near boards up to the point. Johansson slid it across, far wall. Pelika shot, save made by Gustafsson. Rebound in behind Finney. Red Wings here with some pep on their step in this offensive shift. Here's Pelika, far point, a shot, blocked in front by Johansson. That stung him as his left skate's now dragging on the ice. On the far wall, Raymond leaves it for Larkin. Larkin up high for Pelika. ASP looking, back to Larkin up high, skating to the left wing circle. Drops it back off for Sandin Pelika. Long shot, they score! Axel Sandin Pelika put it towards the net, and it bounced wide. The Red Wings are within 2. So 7th goal of the year for Axel Sandin Pelika, as it's now a 4-2 game. After that wrist shot was let go from the left point, as it went through traffic. Finney and Faber were on top of the blue paint when that shot came through. Marcus Johansson and Raymond as well fighting near the blue paint, as that one beat Philip Gustafsson through traffic. And the Red Wings have gotten 1. They still need 2 to at least try and get a point tonight. So Sandin Pelika recalled under emergency basis from Grand Rapids with the injury to Justin Falk, as he finds the back of the net here in his first game rejoining the club. And it's now 4-2, Minnesota leading the Detroit Red Wings. So after the face-off here, a whistle's blown here for a puck out of play, so another neutral zone draw will come up when we return, as that'll end up sending us to break. It's 4-2 Minnesota. We'll see if the Red Wings could do anything, or if the Wild hang on and let the Montreal Canadiens clinch a playoff spot. back in Detroit, where the Red Wings got one back a minute ago, as Axel Sandin Pellikka was able to beat Philip Gustafsson to the glove side with a long wrister through traffic that got this game to within 2 for Detroit, as they're desperate for points in the standings. The Wild trying to get home ice in the first round out west, as this game's now going to get down to it with about 13 minutes remaining in this, or 12 and a half minutes remaining in this third period. So face off here at the Hockeytown logo at center. It'll be Kopp winning it, and it'll be controlled by Edvinsson. Again, the Red Wings attacking right to left in this third period. The Wild going left to right, as now Edvinsson with 3 points in 3 games against the Wild gets into the near side, pulls up in the near corner, protecting, put it behind the goal for Kane. Patrick Kane in front for Kopp. It bounced off him to the near side. He's tied up now with Spurgeon on the near wall. Came free to Brinket across to the point. Sider looking, shooting, and it went off the end boards to the blocker side of Gustafsson. Hartman on the near wall trying to clear. Gets it out. Now Sider will chase back with it on the near side. Kaprizov trailing him. Skates behind the Red Wing net. Trying to get on his horse past Kaprizov will, but a pass goes off Zuccarello's blade right back to him onside into the Wild zone. Put it now to the near side to Brinket. Pitchforks it back down. Came back up high. It'll go out to center on the Wild, clear by Spurgeon. Will this go far enough for an icing is the question, and it will. And an icing is called here with 11:47 to go in period number 3. So the Wild with only 1 shot in this period, the Red Wings with 7. I said at the end of period 2, there's going to need to be some urgency from the Red Wings. Said it again at the start of period 3. If they don't start to show it, maybe their season is going to come to a close here just based on the eye test. But so far, so good in this third period. And perhaps, like I said, this team will score 3 in a cluster when they get desperate. Here's a tip off a faceoff win by Comfort. Came back to him. Here's Kasper in the slot. Put it wide past the blocker side of Gustafsson again. To the point, Pellikka. Now their shot, right pad save. Gustafsson rebound cleared up, and it was almost not out, but it came to Zuccarello, who will get it out, and he dumps it on in and heads to change. 21 block shots for the Wild in this game, just 5 for the Red Wings, as the Wild are doing a good job of just boxing out Detroit and suffocating the life right out of them, but Detroit started to get some life back into them. The Wild in the O-zone try to take it right back out again. On the near side, Faber, long shot deflected right into the glove of Talbot off the stick of McCarron, who's now jostling around with Sherratt. Now Comfer having to come to the aid, going up against Nick Foligno. There's a lot of face washing going on here on top of the blue paint of Cam Talbot, as now the linesmen are going to have to try and separate these guys, as McCarron's still tied up here with David Perron. Kasper trying to get in there to separate the two as well, as these two teams now are exchanging their displeasure with one another, with 11:04 to go here in this third period. But the line of Comfer, Perron, and Finney here, I should say Kasper, trying to put the puck here on net. They had a couple of good tries, as the pads of Gustafsson closing the 5-hole once, twice, and then the right pad save being made as well has kept this a 2-goal lead for Minnesota. The Red Wings are pressing to try and get this to within 1, and then hopefully, for their sake, the equalizer. Wild here again, just trying to get within 2 points of the Dallas Stars for second place in the Central Division. Home ice in that series could prove crucial throughout 7 games, as now a face-off to the left of Talbot. Going to be dug in by the Red Wings, but dug out by the Wild, as it's played to the trapezoid. Now another battle ensues. Marcus Foligno just crunched Bernard Docker as the puck trickles in front, but Carter Mazur's there to collect, and it's flipped out through the Red Wing logo at center and into the Wild zone. Quinn Hughes taking a look. Played it straight ahead onto the Hockeytown logo. Nick Foligno's pass went off of Johansson, but right to his brother Marcus on the near right wing. Dropped it off in the corner for Nick. Nick let it ride now to the trapezoid. Urov fresh on the ice, gets on that puck. Pinned up against the boards by Bernard Docker in the trapezoid. Rasmussen trying to get it free for Detroit. Up the near boards, played it out to center. Rolls past the penalty boxes. Quinn Hughes now battling with Mazur. Able to stay with it and play it away from him. Now circles behind his own net down to our left with 10:15 to go in this third period. Jaric Rubel with you on this Easter Sunday on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, as now Quinn Hughes had a pass intended for Urov that missed. That ends up being an icing, and now an O-zone draw for the Wings with 10:10 remaining in the third period. So again, a look at the Eastern Conference wildcard standings. Ottawa with 6 games remaining at 88. Same goes for the Red Wings, but Ottawa holds the tiebreaker. Philly, same thing, 6 left, 88 points. Columbus, 5 games left, 88 points. And Washington at 87 points. And remember, the Islanders at 89 points in the Metro. That third spot's also up for grabs. Now off a face-off, the Red Wings are going to control. Sandin Pellikka, shot from the slot, missed the net, had a good chance, as now he gets it back on the far boards. Tried to feed Larkin, but he got upended from behind by Trennan, as now it's scooped out the center from one knee by Urov, and the Red Wings have to rekindle back with under 10 to go in the third. On the left wing, the Wild end up with it as Spurgeon goes across to Brodin, and Brodin will go right back to Spurgeon. 2 longtime veterans in Minnesota of over a decade. Play it ahead for Johansson to tip it in, a veteran of this league as well, but only a few seasons here in Minnesota, so he was primarily with Washington in his career. As on the near side, Marcus Johansson in the Red Wings zone, knocked Sherratt off the puck, but it came to the far wall, and the Red Wings grab it. Here's DeBrincat the cop. We'll leave it to Sherratt, straight in over the Wild line, got poke checked, but it came to DeBrincat, tried to knock it down, bounces to the near circle, finds Kane in the slot, a shot, and it was blocked and rolled to Gustafsson, who had to make a blocker save with his pad save, I should say, as now it rolls out through the wing logo at center. Johansson over the Red Wing line, dropped it off, got it back, and a shot from the right wing circle, soaked up by Talbot, and another crowd will gather in front. 9 minutes remain in period 3. It's still 4-2 Minnesota here on Easter Sunday on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Welcome back into Detroit, 4-2 Minnesota over the Red Wings. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Seems like some new faces have joined the stream. If you are new and you like what you're hearing, hit subscribe and hit the bell notifications as well to find out when I go live on stream, as I'll be back Tuesday from St. Louis as the Blues host the Colorado Avalanche in what could be life or death for St. Louis on home ice on Tuesday. And Thursday, the Blue Jackets head to Buffalo to take on the Sabres, who have just clinched a playoff spot. The Buffalo Sabres have. The Blue Jackets have started to struggle. The new coach bump has finally expired, and they're in desperation mode to try and make it in the final week of the season. Saturday, Golden Knights and Avalanche with you, and I might have a special guest with me for that game, so stick around to see who that could potentially be for a primetime game that could be a first-round playoff matchup if Vegas were to fall. I don't know if that's going to happen after their few wins under Torts, but still potential there. And then Sunday, April 12th, Penguins Capitals, maybe Sid and Ovi for the final time. I'll be with you for that. But if the Capitals, they have a favorable schedule, if they could do it, maybe, just maybe, Sid and Ovi meet in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Face off here to the left of Talbot. 9 minutes even left in the third period. Down to our right, the face-off's won by the Red Wings, and it's played around from behind the goal by Sider up to Kasper at center. Over the Wild blue line, goes after his own chip in the far corner. From the trapezoid, bunted it on his backhand to the left wing dot for Edvinsson. In front, they score! Comfer on the redirect. It's a one-goal game, folks. 11th of the season for JT Compher. I told you the Red Wings, they celebrate like they've won everything when they start to get in comeback mode, and the jubilation on that goal was evident as Kasper, after his own chip, got it, gave it to Edvinsson on the left wing, who played it through a maze on top of the paint for Compher on the back door to tip it right past the glove side of Gustafsson, and the Red Wings are within one as they've gotten the 2 in the cluster. Perhaps they'll get the 3rd. So it looks like perhaps a timeout or a review might be in stall here. And it looks like a timeout is going to be called by John Hines, the head coach of the Minnesota Wild, as he's the one talking to his team, trying to settle everybody down, as they've been heavily outplayed in this third period. 11 shots for the Red Wings in the first 11 minutes of the period, and the Wild, meanwhile, have only had 4 on net. And Detroit, here the urgency has shown up, and maybe that burial for their death can wait, as they might just so get hot. We don't know. But it was just a miserable first 40 minutes for the Red Wings. Don't know what was said in that locker room, but either Todd McClellan or maybe Patrick Kane. I know Kane's honestly not afraid to step up at this point in his career and tell people how it is. Stepped up and, told everybody what had to be done. And the Red Wings in this third period have done a real good job of controlling play against the Minnesota Wild. They have iced the puck here, though, following the upcoming faceoff. So with that in face-off will be in their defensive zone now, and the Wild will have an O-zone opportunity. So this game's gotten interesting. I kind of alluded to it at the end of the second period. It's just this Red Wings team, when they do decide they want to show the urgency, this is the kind of performance we get out of them. It's just like they empty their tank, though, and then they'll probably put up an egg on the next game. But every point matters here, and to come back down 4-1 to 4-3 with still 8.5 to play is huge. Now here's a shot that came right to Comfort through the blue paint. He put it, it came from the point by Seider, and it went just through the goal mouth out the far side, and that'll allow Kaprizov up with it in the slot. Dropped it, Harman, a shot block, came back and cleared to the near wall. Comfort will get back with it. Out to center, he missed Casper. This will roll for an icing, and a whistle at 7:58 now to go in the third period. As I want to look at that replay on this try from Seider, it popped up in the air and it came down just inside the low part of the near face-off circle near the blue paint right to Comfort, and when he swung at it, it went just grazing off the far post and out the far side. So face-off to the right of Talbot here. 7:58 to go in this third period. If you're liking the stream thus far, again, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and put the bell notifications on. You'll hear from me again on Tuesday, St. Louis and Colorado. Those two teams also going at it tonight in Denver. First of a home and home between the teams, as now a puck here goes out of play on the near side with 7:50 remaining in the third period. Face-off will come on out here to neutral ice, as shots are tied here at 17 apiece now between these two teams. And now the referees are huddling here. Perhaps a delay of game conversation being had for the Red Wings. As we'll take a look at this replay, Casper played this up, and where it does go straight out of play. Now the question's going to be, did it touch Petrie? But I don't think it did. A better look here will suggest this is going to be a delay of game on Marco Casper. He shot that puck out over the near side glass as he was trying to play it kind of at shoulder height. He bunted at it. It went right over Petrie, right over the glass. And they didn't call it. Oh, no, they didn't call it. It's staying 5-on-5. I think that's bad. I don't think that hit Petrie. I know I'm looking at a monitor like, regular 1080p quality, but I don't think that hit Jeff Petrie, you guys. I think the Red Wings got a break right there. That should have been delay a game on Casper, but we're going to stay 5-on-5 here in the final 7.5 of the third period. Puck back out the center. Petrie will recoil for the Wild. Played it out in front of the penalty boxes. It ricocheted into the Red Wing zone where Sandin Pellico will knock it this way for Sherratt. Left wing boards up ahead off the blade of Raymond. Came on the near wall for Trennan, but he can't hold it over the Red Wing line. Now a bouncing puck comes back to him at his feet. Poked it into the near corner. In front it goes through the blue paint. Whistling to the far side. It's picked up by Raymond. Past the benches he'll go. He's at the end of a shift, so he'll shoot it in to the near side of the wing or the Wild zone. It'll go for Brodin. Out between the circles to our left. Played it in front of the penalty boxes for Spurgeon. Nudged it over the Red Wing line. Taken back by Albert Johansson, who opened the scoring this afternoon. Nudged it up on the far wall. Just not good, Albert Johansson, with these neutralized passes. He's played it right too far in front of his teammates today and right on the blade of Wild players. And that's given up possession, valuable time for the Red Wings. Back in come the the Wild near side. Marcus Foligno taken down on the near side with a collision with Johansson. Now they get free from each other. Meanwhile, on the far wall, JVR with the puck. Got a little return pass from Mazur. Poked it through the legs of Marcus Foligno. And just circles back in his own zone as the Red Wings are trying to change. 6:15 to go in this third period. Red Wings trying to tie it at 4 after being down 4-1. After giving up 4 unanswered in the first 12 minutes of period number 2. It was all Wild in that middle frame. Now it's all Red Wings here in the third here this afternoon. And out comes the Kopp Kane DeBrincat line. Kopp from the red line will chip it in behind the Wild goal. To the trapezoid, it bounces back to the far corner. Kopp with it's pinned up against the boards thanks to Quinn Hughes. Hughes trying to pry it loose for the Wild. 3 Wild skaters to the left of Gustafsson to the far corner, and they come up with it as Faber on the near wall will bounce it out. Off the glass, it rolls into the Red Wings zone. Won't go far enough for icing in the near side as Seider collects. Skates through the trapezoid to the far wall, flipped it out to center. Kopp will knock it down and collect. Onside over the line, fed in the slot to DeBrincat. For Kane, a backhand scores! Showtime ties it at 4, and the Little Caesars Arena faithful go crazy. So Patrick Kane's second point of the game, his 19 points in his last 15 games, gets the equalizer. On a pass through neutral ice, Seider found Kopp with a down and outer. DeBrincat in the slot, nudged it to Kane, who just tapped a backhander right past the glove side of Philip Gustafsson. Not even a big celebration from Kaner, just a big yeah and a hug to DeBrincat as the Red Wings, with 3, have tied it at 4. So the Wild here, the control off the ensuing draw. Top line on the ice. Into the zone they go. Kaprizov down low, looking for the hat trick, and a right pad save by Talbot as Hartman set him up. At the point, Middleton's stick just shattered on him. Now the Red Wings are out the other way. Here's Kasper. Got it taken away on the back check by Hartman. Back on the far left wing comes Kaprizov. Left wing circle. Pivots here on his backhand against Seider. Dropped it down low in the same spot for Zuccarello. Back up top, Kirill, one-timer. Got the glass. Ricochet to the near side. Spurgeon down low. Absorbs a hit from Perron. Zuccarello at the right point covering, nudged it across, fresh on the ice. A shot goes over the crossbar off the stick of Johansson, and that goes out of play with 4:37 left in the third. The Red Wings, with 3 in the third, have tied this at 4, the latest coming from Patrick Kane, as the first ballot Hall of Famers tied it at 4. And we'll be back in a moment on this Easter Sunday live on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. New game here in Detroit as the Red Wings answered the bell and scored 3 unanswered in the third from Sandin Pellikka, Comfort, and Kane, as they were once down 4-1 halfway through this game, and they've tied it at 4 after having just 8 shots through the first 40 minutes of this game. As they're desperate for the points, they've shown that desperation in this third, and they have equalized it, and now perhaps want to win in regulation. The Cop Kane DeBrincat lines out again through center. Kane on the far wing, skates to the slot with a shot and a paddle save made by Gustafsson, covering the 5-hole, down in the butterfly position. Rebound went to the far boards that Matthew Boldy chipped through center. Over the Red Wing line, it bounces to the slot, far wall, it's carried by Eriksson Ek. Pinned up against the boards now by Pellikka. Gonna be taken away. Boldy spun around the goal to the near side. Zuccarello will stash, or Johansson, I should say, will stash it right back down to Boldy, but Sandin Pellikka got in front of him, knocked the puck away from him, and now DeBrincat on the near side will throw it out to Kane. Kane glides by Johansson and avoids a check. Into the wild zone he goes. Now has to turn back to center as Quinn Hughes is all over him, but now Albert Johansson gets it as the poke check found him. He'll snap it in from the red line. Around it goes to the far boards. It'll be played back in behind. And now out of play, I guess it'll go, as it looked like it hit the glass and rode the stanchion. And now Patrick Kane, I'm looking at him. Is he being guided to the penalty box? He is. As now it's going to be a tripping called against Kane, or I missed this when I was trying to follow the play. As the Wild here are going to get a power play late in regulation, and Kane just gave a little stick tap to Quinn Hughes, and that took him down. And that's something Kane does regularly, where he'll just tap your skate when you go by, but that one caught the inside part of the blade of Quinn Hughes, and 88 after tying it takes a seat for tripping. And now at 3:37 to go in the third, the Wild to the power play. The Red Wings fans now sitting on their hands again. So face off here to the right of Talbot. It'll be Larkin against Eriksson Ek. Wild power plays 0 for 1 today. No shots on their lone opportunity. And off the draw, they get it. Boldy played it to the back. Quinn Hughes. Hughes back to Boldy. Far wall. Left wing circle. He's looking over the traffic. Goes up top to Hughes, back to Boldy, left wing dot again, a wrister off the glove of Talbot, came to the near side, be grabbed by Hughes, played down Zuccarello, back for Boldy, can't hold the feed as he has to get back to it. Now Larkin over him, forces him to the far left wing board, Sider poked it away from him, it came down low to Ek, around the goal to the near side, Edvinsson on it for the Wings, bashed it as far as the red line, as now Quinn Hughes hit a rut in the ice and lost the puck for a second, but now nudges it back with minute 25 to go. On the Minnesota power play, 3 minutes left in regulation, far boards it's Comfort, taking it away and throwing it down the ice for the Red Wings. That gets a round of applause here from the fans in the pizza box. As now 70 seconds remain for the Wild's man advantage. Quinn Hughes over the logo at center. Far wall, Zuccarello back down low for Hughes. Far half boards down to our right. Pinned up against the boards by Kopp. It squirted up to Zook. This way Kaprizov. Long wrister paddled away on a deflection by Ek by Talbot. Puck came up to the far point. Kept Zuccarello. This way Kaprizov nudged it this way for Boldy. Right wing circle. Final 50 of the power play. Boldy looking carefully from the right wing dot. Played it up top. There's Quinn Hughes between the circles at the blue line. Back to Boldy. Deep slot. Long shot. Missed to the far post. Came up to Hughes at the far point. Hughes back to Boldy. One-timer. Back. Right blocker save made by Talbot. Rebound. Came to the near side. Cleared up but not out. Hughes walking in. Down Main Street to the near side. Kaprizov couldn't get it on net for the hat trick. On the near side now. He threw it back up. Boldy at the point. Walks into the far left wing circle. Pivoting on Comfort. Got it back to the blue line. Here's now Zuccarello. Back to Boldy. This way Kaprizov. One-timer. He scores! The hat trick for the Carillionaire, and the Wild with the power play marker reclaim the lead. Kirill Kaprizov, goal 43 on the year, a hat trick here in Detroit, and with a late power play goal, the Wild have reclaimed their lead with a one-timer from the right wing circle by 97 in white. Just a beautiful rink-wide feed from the far wall by Boldy, and Kaprizov goes upstairs against Talbot, moving to his left. No chance, as that one went right past his blocker. He moved too far to his left. As he was expecting a short side shot, it went to the far side, And the 6th regular season hat trick for Kirill Kaprizov gives the Wild a 5-4 lead. The Red Wings will get possession off the ensuing draw. The goalie will end up going to the bench here in a second for the extra attacker as under 100 seconds remain. Red Wings need a point at the very least in this game. They're going to try and press their hardest for it, but they come up empty-handed here in their own zone. The goalie heads to the bench and shot down the ice. This is going to be an icing as now the whistle's going to go with a minute 28 here in the third period. Red Wings have a timeout in their back pocket to see if they want to use it now or wait and see who they want to get on the ice. But Kirill Kaprizov might have put the dagger in the hearts of the Red Wings and their fans, but we'll see. Draw to the right of Gustafsson, won by Larkin, to the back Seider, near wall Raymond, back up top Seider, long shot, save made, rebound, Finney on the left pad, and Gustafsson, it's not free, Larkin put it over the crossbar, final 75, puck to the far corner, Kane tied up with Tarasenko, it's launched free to DeBrincat, an empty net again for the Wings, as now Raymond to the point, here's Seider, Seider to the far circle, Kane looking for an option, just surveying, right dot, shot, blocked, out of play it goes with a minute remaining in this third period. So face-off coming up here, still inside the Wild defensive zone. We'll see if Todd McClellan wants to use his timeout for the Red Wings as Kirill Kaprizov, again, moments ago, with a hat trick on the power play to give the Wild the lead, and the Red Wings a minute away here from coming up empty-handed in the standings with 0 points. Now it looks like Todd McClellan is going to use his timeout, so to the benches both of these teams will go, as this is a big 60 seconds here for the Red Wings. If they end up tying this game, they will leapfrog into a playoff spot for at least a few hours as it stands. The Senators are in action in about 90 minutes against the Hurricanes, as that game's in Canadian Tire Center up in the Canadian capital. And the Red Wings will face the Columbus Blue Jackets on Tuesday, and that is absolutely a playoff game, as those teams are tied at 88 points in the standings. And then after that, another date with the Flyers, the third and final meeting of this 2-week run against each other. They're also tied at 88 points. The Red Wings, yeah, those 2 games are going to be big, and it could really help them out if they win them. But just a point here, maybe getting that second point could be so crucial by the time you get to game 81 and 82 that it just is going to help you beat those teams and get in. Face off to the left of Gustafsson. We're back underway as the Red Wings win it. To the back, Seider straight away. Far wall, Kane one-timer. Poked wide by Kopp in behind in the trapezoid. DeBrincat couldn't get it up to Raymond. The Wild are going to get it. They move it up. Seider keeps it on one knee. Left wing boards. Along down low, it's Raymond. Pivots in the corner to his forehand. Put it up top to Seider. Seider here in the final 40. At the blue line to the far wall, it's played to Kane. Along at the circle, up top Seider. One-timer save. Rebound to the slot. Cleaned up Kaprizov. Poked to the corner by Larkin. Kaprizov can't clear. It came to Eck. He can't either. Now Faber's going to try. Got it ahead for Boldy. Boldy will spin with it. Ahead for Kaprizov. Now it's going to be played back onto Raymond's blade as Kaprizov couldn't grab it. Final 15. In come the Red Wings. Shot by Kopp. Poked in by Raymond and a save by Gustafsson. Where's the puck? It's behind in the trapezoid. Final 10. It's dug out by Larkin. Here's DeBrincat. Seider one-timer. Blocked by Boldy to the near wall. Seider keeps it in. Final 4. Played down low. Raymond knocked away. Eck has it, and the Wild are going to win the game. So the Wild hang on for a 5-4 win in regulation, and with that, the Montreal Canadiens have clinched a berth in the Eastern Conference playoff, with the Red Wings losing here on home ice, and they come up empty-handed in the standings after Kirill Kaprizov, with an absolute backbreaker, found the back of the net for the hat trick that gave the Wild a 5-4 win in a regulation. And all this talk about the East, don't forget that these Minnesota Wild are now just 2 points back of the Dallas Stars, and that could dictate home ice in that first round series. And in a series that's destined, in my eyes, to go 6 or 7 games, home ice could very much be the difference in that series. Just getting the matchups, not the period of the long change, but more so just the last change at home and getting the matchups you want, as this is going to be a very interesting finish amongst everywhere in the National Hockey League. The West, the East, all the divisions, absolute chaos as in this game again today, the Minnesota Wild 5-4 win it in regulation over the Detroit Red Wings. Let's recap the scoring while we have a moment. Opening it 100 seconds in, Albert Johansson's third of the year from Sandin Pellikka and Patrick Kane. Then Matt Boldy started 4 in a cluster for the Wild, as it was his 41st of the year, set up by Joel Eriksson-Ek. As it wasn't really much of an assist from Eriksson-Ek. It was basically just off his skate on the far wall, and it went Boldy, who went roaring in to get the tying goal for the Wild. Kaprizov, of course, is trying to keep the team lead away from Boldy in the goal score department, so just a minute later gets his 31st of the year to tie him in the department of goal scoring. Assist from Hartman and Zuccarello on that goal. Then Tarasenko's 22nd of the year from Middleton and Hartman. Hartman with 2 assists in that middle period. And Kaprizov with 2 goals as he then got his 42nd of the year set up by Faber. And then this third period, we went bonkers. Sandin Pellikka's 7th of the year from Larkin and Raymond. Comfer, 11th of the year from Edvinsson and Casper. Then Patrick Kane tied it at 4 with his 15th of the year from DeBrincat and Kopp. And then Kirill Kaprizov with the power play backbreaker. His hat trick goal, 43rd of the year, set up by Matt Boldy and Mats Zuccarello. So the Wild, 2 points back now of tying the Stars for home ice in the Central Division first round playoff matchup. The Red Wings stuck on 88 points and could end up looking back. Well, they are on the outside looking in while they're tied, but overall, with some of these teams playing tonight, Ottawa could break that tie against them. The Flyers could break that tie against them. And the Capitals as well could leapfrog them with a regulation win over the New York Rangers here tonight. So, thank you for joining me on this Easter Sunday. The coverage is not over on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Currently going on right now, it is the Women's National Championship game. Seth Eves has that for you guys going on right now. And then Cardinals Tigers Sunday Night Baseball tonight with Matt and JT. And then again, the NIT Championship at 8 Eastern with Seth Eves as well. The next time you hear from me, it'll be Tuesday from St. Louis as the Blues try and survive against the Colorado Avalanche. Those points will certainly make or break whether they can make the Western Conference wild card or not. I look forward to calling that all with you all Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. And one last time, Minnesota with 5, the Detroit Red Wings with 4. That's the final score here tonight from Motown. So again, my name's Jaric Rubel. I'll talk to you all on Tuesday from St. Louis as the Blues host the Avalanche. And again, have a happy Easter, everybody. Enjoy the games the rest of the day, no matter what sport you might be tuning into. And I'll talk to you all in 2 days from St. Louis.